Hello everybody, welcome to a brand new Let's Play series in Hearts of Iron 4. Today we're playing a little bit more of the Red Flood mod, which I don't think we played in quite some time. What we're going to be playing today is Russian Empire. I don't really know exactly what we can do as Russia. I don't have a specific path in mind, because again, it's been a long time. A long time since we last played Red Flood. I'll look it up, I'll tell you next episode. Anyways, we are currently the Russian Empire, we're underneath Alexander Kolchak. And welcome to Red Flood. In 1905, when the guns fell silent in the Far East, the Russian Empire had won a Pyrrhic victory over Japan. Stability still eluded Russia, however, as in 1911, Assassination Tsar Nicholas II would show. Prime Minister Pyotr Stolpin would take advantage of the weakened House Romanov to further his ambitious economic modernization program. This all would have been put to the test when the Empire intervened in the Balkan Wars in 1913, marching an army through Romania to aid its Orthodox brethren in Serbia. Treaties and guarantees went from words of material fact, and soon Europe would be embroiled into a great war. Years of industrial warfare, unlike anything seen before, would change the course of history forever. And by the end, very few states could count themselves as victors rather than victims. The year is 1936. In 1919, 1 year after the red flag flew over Berlin, revolutionary Italian nationalists seized control of Fiume, a city whose fate is still being decided at the peace negotiations. The old guard of Europe had to battle with the traditional specter of socialism out of Germany, but also the growing threat ostensibly from the political right. At first labeled accelerationism by critics, the chaotic blend of political futurism, revolutionary nationalism, and other moderate movements became a badge of identification in Fiume. And now, 2 years after the fall of France to accelerationism, it appears that history approaches a turning point once more. Important decisions will allow players to use tags of annexing them. Okay, yeah, turn them on. Whatever the game says we should do, I'm just going to do. Also, I think my microphone's a little bit quiet, but I think that's kind of fine for now. I'll see if it's okay afterwards. Research slots. We got a few research slots. It is 36. So, of course, we are going to go for our lovely basic technologies here. Research speed and our industry techs. I'm always going to take those first. We only have 32 factories. We actually have a massive military economy, but our civilian economy is essentially non-existent. Artillery, we have a stupid amount of boats being made. What I want to get trains in here as well. I guess we'll put one more on artillery pieces for right now. That seems okay. We are missing strategic bombers. I mean, I'll just build them. That's fine. For national focus, I think we literally only have one option. And you know what? I actually saw I think it was a YouTube short about unassigned divisions. I believe if you... Actually, it says right here, if you just shift-click this. I have played Hearts of Iron 4 for 7 years. I think. Yeah, about 7 years. I literally did not know that this was even an option, but excellent. Okay, 39 divisions split that into 2 armies. Throw it underneath one Field Marshal, Peter Wrangel. Congratulations on your promotion. And we'll put you... I guess we're going to put you on the border with Ukraine. It seems fine. No, I want to assign you here. We'll assign you on the border with Belarus. Actually, don't actually want to split you into 3 armies. I probably do. I'm going to send one of you over to Lithuania. All of these 3 states, by the way, they are puppets of Poland. It's kind of in their intermedium. We'll probably end up at war with Poland at some point. But again, like I said, it's been quite a while since I've played Red Flood. I don't quite remember the pathways. We have a lot of infantry divisions here. Which one are you? So you are 24 combat with artillery and recon. 16. And you are 20. What's the difference between these two then? Or are they the same? Recon artillery. Recon artillery. I don't know. I think you are the exact same unit. You're cheaper, which wasn't bad. Well, actually, what do we have here? So we have 3 of you. 3 of you. 25 of you. You know, let's get some cavalry. That seems okay. Probably. Outdated equipment in production. That's one of our submarines. We're not even... Oh, I mean, you're almost finished. So you might as well let that submarine finish up there. Decisions available. Give me my Army Navy experience. Thank you. Peacetime actions. Build a surplus. Political actions. So there is a lot of stuff here that we will be able to do in the future. We can't do it quite yet. Malaysia. Do any of our puppets have any You don't have any supplies? Unfortunately not. Okay, then. So let's get... I guess it's rubber. I shouldn't be surprised that none of our puppets have rubber. Let's trade with the United States and Malaysia. They got a sweet-ass tiger on their flag. Not going to say no to that one. Never mind, I have no factories. So that's going to make my my choice real fucking easy here. Okay. We get all of our units together here. Let me also make sure we turn off Fog of War. I am using a new office chair. I know that's probably not... It's actually not a hotkey for offensive line. I've got a new office chair, which I have stolen from... I guess I didn't steal it, but I took it from my spouse's work. Because they upgraded their office chairs. And they're like, hey, if you want to take the old ones, you can. So I've got like a new office chair. It's much nicer than the old kitchen chair I used because my original office chair broke. The reason I'm saying that is because, like, where my arm placement is, it's a little... Like, once you have a chair for a long time, you kind of get a feel for it, right? But now that I have a new chair, I got a new armrest, everything's, like, slightly off. It might take me a little while to get used to that feeling. Okay, Legacy November strikes. Since the disaster strikes that were called by the Workers' Councils last November, there's been an uneasy tension between our legitimate government and the downtrodden workers. The strikes were, of course, broken by brave police forces, and many of the ringleaders arrested for illegal strikes. The Supreme Leader has taken personal interest in this affair, declaring that the schism between the government and the workers must be mended by any means necessary. Two proposals were put forward by Kolchak's council. One which suggests that we complete the crackdowns that we should have done in November with arresting something more organizing workers, while others suggest releasing less volatile leaders and allowing the Workers' Council to reform, albeit under state supervision. So I think, let us go. We're not another Germany, okay? Crush the workers' movement. How dare you try to get right? I refuse to work with that. So what are you here? Lenin is... Oh, where was Lenin hanging out? Probably in, like, Switzerland? Oh, you know, he's in Germany. You know what? That actually makes complete sense. So Lenin's dead. Political power gain. Oh, no, we get plus 50 political power. We're basically just making you worse. So that's cool. What is polyarchy? Well, actually, what are the ideologies here? Right now, we are polyarchy. So we're a type of oligarchy. Okay, fair enough. And then despotic is probably like more absolutism, which is fine. Let's first and foremost go anti-socialist. We can't trust those crafty Germans, man. Who knows what they're up to over there? So we're gonna crack down on socialist elements because who's in the red front? We got Germany, we got Denmark, we got a little bit of Norway here, and then Hungary. I could have sworn that like, somebody else was in the red front at least last time we played, but I guess that's probably changed since then. The other factions we do have are the Entente, currently with the United Kingdom leading it. There is the Ligue Solaire led by France. I think Spain usually joins that. Yugoslavia usually joins as well. The United States is just kind of doing its own thing. Is there any other factions? Japan, do you have your own faction? Yeah, so Japan's got their own conspiracy sphere kind of thing. The Daitao Hoinken, which I'm assuming maybe means conspiracy sphere. I actually don't know what it's called in Japanese. Maybe I should, but I just don't. I just don't. What do you actually do? Do you just give me... Construction speed is actually basically always garbage. Neighboring countries like us more. I mean, it's 15 political power. Like, that's not nothing. It could do a little purge. Could do a purge. Could get more popularity. Population goes up by a little bit. I mean, it's basically a war support bonus, which I'm not, like, that interested in. Consumer goods for 30 days. 0.1 political power for 25. Well, here's the thing. Are we going to be staying as this ideology? Or are we going to go a little bit more authoritarian in the future? It's a little hard to say. You know, actually, this would be pretty good. We're spending 15 for a discount. But honestly, I think, like, right now, none of those are really speaking to me all that much. We have a good army commander. You need reactionary despotic. 10% attack is always quite nice. Proc movement speed. And you're basically the same. It costs 80 political power. I do notice you don't cost any command power. which is interesting. So you know what, Peter Rangel, you're already in charge of the army. Might as well put you in here as well. Fantastic. And Mongolia is having their own little war here. So we've got the Mongolian People's Army versus the Anhai clique. I'm assuming maybe Mongolia can join up with Germany at some point. I don't know how much influence the Reds can project here. Because we got the United Government in the south. I think that's basically going to be like, yeah, the KMT in the south. Which is fine. I don't think we need to worry about... I don't know how much we need to really worry about what's going on in China. Presumably it's going to matter at least a little bit. Like, what about you? Fucking Kerensky's over here, huh? Well, I'm assuming at some point we're going to invade you. Kerensky can't live, right? Like, that's not possible. Okay, so Austria has a new emperor, currently led by the conservatives, the despots. We'll see what they end up doing here. Do we have any subjects? No, like, no one that we know. None of our allies have resources that I need. And by allies, I of course mean all of our lovely puppet states. I'm assuming at some point also we'll be able to integrate these people. I don't know when that'll happen. Actually, I'm going to turn on my... I gotta be very careful when I turn on my microphone because it is the little box I have. You know, you plug the microphone into the box. It's very, very sensitive. So there's like, even like a little millimeter can make a big deal here. Okay, so there's been an election in Germany. Not a big deal for me. Do I want to go more research speed? The answer is usually pretty much yes, always. Who the hell are you? Look at this. Oh my god. Why does he look like he's like 16? Who's in charge here? Who is Herbert Fromf? I don't know who that is. But he's got a weird looking face. I don't know. I don't know what about it. Just okay, the Albanian National Front. So that is revisionist socialist. Could theoretically join with the Germans here. Despite a thorough investigation by experienced secret police, there's little substance connecting the Republican elements with the various parties as more socialist strikers. A few connections were little more than individual liberal politicians speaking out against police brutality or declaring that a dialogue must be open with the strikers, or certainly treasonous and anti-Russian behavior. Punishing them won't totally end the Republican movement in Russia. So we can either lock up some liberals, or we can try to... You know what? We're just going to do... We'll throw a few people under the bus. The more outspoken ones. But we're kind of fine somewhat with oh, Revolution in Japan's? Okay, so Japan's actually not breaking out into a civil war. We got the Revolutionary Japanese against the Empire of Japan. And presumably I think the Revolutionary is probably going to win. Again, I'm trying to remember because I think we did play Revolutionary Japan at some point. Civil war has broken out in Japan. And Bulgaria. Currently they are a puppet. They're also socialist. We'll probably see Bulgaria try to break away from Yugoslavia at some point. Which is definitely going to support the Germans. What's going on in Romania? I don't know if any of you support my... Oh, you changed. You're no longer accelerationist. You're just standard progressive. Which I guess is okay. The Altai Confederation is just fighting against us. The Altai Confederation... You. What are you up to? What the hell is this? Rasputin is here! When did Rasputin show up? Look at this flag. I mean, that's a pretty sweet flag. I'm not going to deny that. So Korea has broken out into their own civil war. Korean People Republic. We got the Korean Republic and the Kingdom of Korea. They're all going to fight amongst themselves. I'm going to assume as well that Matsushio is not going to survive for too much longer. In Indochina, which was a ally of the Japanese, I think they've also started to break apart, which is good for us. I'm not going to say no to that. Now, am I worried about Rasputin? Well, the fact that his green is different than the rest of our greens, I think is something that we do need to pay attention to. Okay, State Duma. Okay. Naval Mediterranean in the naval maneuvers in the Mediterranean sounds great. And in a few months, we'll be having another election. Well, I mean, we're gonna have a meeting with the Duma. It's not like a real election, right? Presumably, at least. We're at negative 29 political power. I mean, that does seem pretty bad. We're also getting 0.1 per day, which also seems really, really bad. Okay, so we got war breaking out in the Middle East, and I did see here... Earlier today, the leader of the Russian Republic, Alexander Kerensky, announced that he would hereby resign, calling for a new round of elections as soon as possible. Following the collapse of Japan and the Civil War, few expected any large impact to come from Zal Russia. However, the fall of the Japanese Empire prompted complete disarray in the largely Japanese-owned railways. The Japanese company failed, many cities went without food or goods, and thousands of workers were laid off. So presumably at some point, we will be able to move our way into Zal Russia. Like, presumably they were backed by the, Japanese, and now with other Japanese, we have a little bit more of a mandate to maybe make some maneuvers here. I think that would make sense. Imperial Restoration Army. Oh, you're like okay, so now that Japan has lost the war, or I guess the Empire of Japan is now lost, right? They're now led by the revolutionary Japanese. The royal family seems like they fled over to Vietnam. I mean, you guys do what you want. I mean, it's a little... I don't know what you're going to do, how it's going to work out for you, but I believe in your... I believe in you. Go get him, Tiger. Army training programs. I mean, just like passive... I mean, actually, it's command power. So, yeah, you know what? Give me some army training programs, 100%. What about you? You're the Russian National Peasant Republic. I have a feeling, I've got a little bit of a feeling here, that Russia is going to completely disintegrate very, very soon. I've got a strong feeling this tree is not actually ever going to finish. Oh, Zal Russians collapsed. See, that's what I wanted to see. They're now disintegrating Zelarusian state. I mean, that works out fine for me. If they want to completely shatter, I'm not going to say no to it. Republic of Green Ukraine. Do any of you guys theoretically, just theoretically, want to rejoin the Russian Empire? All Russian People's Crusades. See, now that's an idea I can get behind. Planning for a vacation. Finally, I have finished most of my business at hand and have plenty of time to enjoy a vacation. I shall go to one of my properties away from Petrograd to relax myself from the cutthroat politics and gloomy weather here. There are several relaxing places I can visit for my vacation, all of them different compared to Petrograd, but somewhat closer destination might be in safer journey perhaps. Well, I only have the option to go to Yalta, and I think Yalta's like... Actually, I don't know where Yalta is. Maybe that's a little embarrassing for me. I think it's down here somewhere. Does it actually... Okay, it's definitely not in Punjab. That one I'm very, very certain on. So it's July of 36. We'll go radio next. There's a lot of stuff going on. Every little piece of the world right now has a little bit of, I don't want to call it nonsense per se, but there's a little something happening everywhere. You know, you got, situation in Bulgaria, our allies over here have completely shattered. And a fateful day in Yalta. This occasion was everything Kolchak needed, and its end aggravated him. He was fishing along the Black Sea, relaxing and nearly falling asleep to the sound of the waves crashing on the rocks. Then, in a flash, a squad of loyal army soldiers grabbed him and rushed him to their car. They had explained that they believed that Dorosky was attempting to assassinate him, and they approved of an anti-Kolchak agent disguised as anarchists had already raided his vacation home in an attempt to find him. Kolchak sighed, realizing his short-lived vacation was now over. As they drove to the city of Yalta, desperately trying to reach the evacuation point at the airport, the driver realized they were being followed. As the Von Q, a shot rang out from the following car, and the driver put the pedal to the floor and began to swerve. Loyalist officers in the back ordered Kolchak to get down, and they swung out pistols of their own and fired back. and friendly police cars started to attempt to intercept the assaulted vehicle. Drovsky's assassins swerved off. For a moment, it looked like they were gone. They arrived at the airport, and Kolchak, his man, ran to the airplane parked in the tarmac. Out of nowhere, a car from before burst through the gates. The driver quickly pulled out his gun and opened fire on Kolchak. As the bullets sailed towards him, one thought crossed Kolchak's mind. I shall not die yet. Russia needs me. I have noticed that you... Sternberg's here. I have noticed that you are no longer a puppet of mine. Sternberg, would you, you have anything to say about that? Summer coup war. Excellent. I'm very happy to to deal with all of this. People of Russia, so fair and wise in your habits and traditions, let me ask you, what is worse than a mere enemy? Kolchak asked over the radio. He had miraculously survived the assassination attempt a day ago, thanks to the sacrifice of the squad's leading officer, who jumped in the way of the bullets to save him. What's worse than a traitor? A backstabbing snake in the grass. A good-for-nothing traitor. And I know one is in our ranks, Mikhail Drovsky. He further alleged that Drovsky had disguised his men as anarchists in order to avert blame, and was attempting to make himself supreme leader of Russia. Drovsky had challenged these claims and has further asserted that Kolchak hired anarchist partisans in an attempt to eliminate him. Responsible to all of this, the military split right down the middle on who to support. The Navy has always been pro-Kolchak's stronghold, as he had been a naval officer and invested heavily in upgrading the Navy. The Army, on the other hand, is strongly in favor of Drovsky, and many generals believe that sucking up to him will be better for spending in the long run. These divisions are going to be influencing our politics in years to come, it seems. Okay. So you are now no longer a puppet. You're no longer a puppet. You're no longer a puppet. No, you're still a puppet. You just don't like me. Right. So you're a puppet. So who's my puppets then? You're not a puppet. You're a puppet. You're not a puppet. A lot of people have realized that they don't really like me. But do I have to look at my faction then? No, my faction's technically been dissolved. Very disappointing to see that. But I will say, at least for right now, this is going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So if you enjoyed, thumbs up. Not enjoying, thumbs down. If you want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.